Ready? We ready down this end? Okay. I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's a special meeting about the budget. Everyone, please stand for a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. A notice of publication?
This special meeting has been advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 2025.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Blumenaire.
Here.
Cleese.
Yeah.
Novak.
Here.
Rios.
Here.
Sinarski.
Here.
Zabrowski.
Okay, this is a budget workshop, and so the head of the Finance Committee is Councilwoman Novak. So it's all yours, Mary.
Okay, I know that we said that we wanted it taken down a little more from 16.4. About 2 weeks ago, Danielle emailed us saying that, that they managed to, with anticipated revenue, get it down to below 15 cents. So it was almost another 2 cents. And I know that everybody was emailed exactly where that money was coming from. Do we need to go over exactly where it's coming from? Did everybody read that email? Okay, well, to the best of my recollection, since I don't have it in front of me, I assumed everybody read it. Some of it was coming from, with the police department, that any new hires, we didn't have to account for a full year's salary. We only had to account for half a year's salary. So we were able to bring down salary and wages in the police department that way a little bit. And we also had other anticipated revenues. I think it was $50,000 from what, Danielle, do you have the exact numbers in front of you?
Yeah, we looked at the reserve for debt service and we took another 100,000 in for this year from the reserve for debt service. And there was one other thing. Oh, the delinquent taxes. We thought that we could safely anticipate another $100,000 from there as well.
So Danielle and Glenn were able to bring it down, like I said, almost another 2 cents without affecting any services at all in the town, as was suggested, that we look at overtime and Fort Grumpy on Saturdays and stuff like that. They were able to bring it down. And does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any suggestions? Is anybody happy with this, that they're willing? It is on the agenda for tonight. And I kind of like to know before I make a motion if I'm even going to get a second. All right, I guess we're not going to get a second tonight either. So I don't know what else to say, gentlemen. I'd say gentlemen and ladies, but is there anything else that you'd like to see? Is there any number that anybody would be willing to vote for this budget? Not. I mean, in the,
Seems like you're cutting a lot out of it and it seems to be working. So I just hope we can agree on something and get it through.
well, I was extremely happy with the 16.4 cents because I don't want to cut down services. I want to pave roads. I don't want to stop having affairs, and that sounds funny, going on in Kennedy Park. Never mind, leave that alone. And the people in this town deserve, the relaxation and the fun that happens with all of the things that we do and the convenience. I don't want to see people start dumping garbage on the streets because we have closed. Matter of fact, I was hoping that next year, things being a little bit better, we might be able to open Port Grumpy back to every single weekend to make it easier on the people. But that being said, we're worried about this. I am still, Glenn, I have to ask you this. 4 weeks ago, you told me you'd have the ordinance for sewer rates and sewer connection fees and water rates ready in 2 weeks.
Well, we've been working on it. We can't just, everything involves a very complicated set of mathematics. And we can't just arbitrarily do, well, we could, but it'd be unfair. We could arbitrarily just pick a number out of our hat, but we're trying to forecast to the best of our abilities what our needs are going to be moving forward and the length of which that these increases should go out over. I mean, our recommendation coming back to you is probably going to be a nominal increase a year over perhaps a 5-year period, which the last time the council took action on water was the way it was handled.
Yeah.
We're still not done with the calculations. I've met with Dave Samuels. I've met with Dave Leitner. It's still a work in progress. There's a lot of moving parts because the secondary part of that equation is the bulk of we don't want to put the bulk of the increase onto our residential customers who, although collectively use the most water, individually they use the least. We do have some big industrial consumers. We have some big commercial. So we have to figure out the rates for those particular classes. It's just, it is a work in progress. Whether we started on this 3 months ago or last week, as I've said before, we're not going to derive any appreciable amount of revenue out of that in this fiscal year. It will be set up for us moving into 2027, but it's not going to have the impact that you would like to have it be
No,
on the budget.
Quite frankly, I know that if everything went well, we'd only have 1 quarter where we'd be getting the extra rates. And I understand that. I just don't want us to have, if we had an $800,000 shortfall this year and we didn't do anything to change that, is it going to be $800,000 next year or $900,000? That's what I'm
I
afraid
can't
of.
say what the MCUA will or will not increase next year, but before the end of this year, we will have it in front of you in enough time so you can approve the increases to forestall that moving into 27.
Because I mean, by not doing it this year, this has been that was a shortfall from last year that we're trying to make up for. Now we're moving into this year. We're already going to have a shortfall for next year. And I am very concerned about that. But at this point, we're looking at the way it is now. Excuse me?
Can you explain, connection rates?
Anybody that connects up to the sewer, whether it be industry or private homeowner, developer, whatever, is charged a fee, a connection fee. That is part of, fees that happen. And I don't know when's the last, I don't remember raising that. I'm sure that we have, but if it's just another way to start making sure that we don't have another shortfall, or at least lessening it to the best of our abilities. But it's a separate fee that you pay when you tie into the sewer lines. But, I'm concerned, and I don't want to be called political, but the fact of the matter is that anybody that has a pilot is not having to absorb this $800,000 shortfall. They're all using probably twice as much water as the average homeowner, but they're getting away with it because since they don't have taxes, they're not paying for this shortfall. And if we raise the fees, then everybody, whether they're on pilot or not, will be, contributing to helping pay off this. But again, this is something that we have to work on, but it's not going to affect this budget right here. It's just not going to happen. It's something that we have to do, or we're going to find ourselves in the same freaking position next year. But right now, we're looking at this, and I'm really kind of proud of the fact that we have been able to really, almost, well, no, we did. We cut that rate almost in half. And we didn't have to, cut any services, because Sayreville is one of the best towns around for services. And, and I'm happy that we didn't have to. But anybody else have anything to say? Do you have anything, Daniel, that you want to add? You can.
Council, this is the work of the council.
Well, we had given direction the council had given direction to both Glenn and Danielle. And I just wanted to know, I mean, they did look at cutting Fort Grumpy and everything else, and they looked at the best way, how much money they would actually save with that. And do you want to elaborate on that at all?
I'm waiting for Hervé or Alberto to second your motion. That would be the team thing to do.
Why?
There's been no motion.
You asked for a
No
motion.
action
Yeah.
taken.
No action taken. It's going to be done. That's going to be done during the regular meeting. It's the
I
first
understand
meeting.
that. I understand that.
And why would it have to be Hervé and Alberto?
Well,
It could
because
be-
they're
I
on
think
your
it
team.
should, well, they're not both on finance.
Well, how does Jim Robinson feel about this, since you take most of your?
I wouldn't know. I know you seem to think about him a lot, but I don't.
Well, Jim, as you know, is not a finance guy, but he certainly has opinions on it.
Yeah. Well,
I think I can share with the council that, and Danielle, correct me if I'm wrong, we've cut to the bone. Any additional cuts will require us to scale back services and perhaps personnel. That's where we're at. Every extemporaneous, unnecessary expense, and thank God the auditor was able to point to a couple of places where he had a little bit of fat going on, but this is bare bones. Anything beyond this is going to affect services to the borough.
the residents. And the residents are the ones that put us here and expect us to make the hard decisions. And I've said, well, I'm going to say, I will be making the motion, even though technically it shouldn't be on the agenda because it's a resolution that was not approved prior, but it's here. People expect us to take a vote on it, and I will be making the motion to approve the amendment. We have some time. If anybody wants to go to the bathroom or something. I should have made this at 6:30 because I knew this was the way it was going to go. Kennedy, do you have any ideas? Oh, I'm sorry. I said, Kennedy, do you have any ideas?
Mary, I'm waiting for the finance committee and the finance chair to.
I did.
Bring forth the budget.
I did.
Good. Apparently, you're not being supported.
Yep. I mean, everybody approved a 25-cent increase except for Hervé. You know, but nobody's willing to accept a 4% increase. I don't understand. Nobody wants to reduce it. This is an election year every year.
I'll have water, but I don't have. The phone used to get me, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah, she's.
Yeah, take a couple.
Yes, you don't.
In case this thing goes down.
I have a quick question. While we discuss this and we think about the possibilities, if we want to decrease this increase, and we talked about the possibilities of actually letting people go, which I don't think anybody here wants. Are there any new positions that are yet to be approved and they're on the way to be approved? Because that will be the first.
The only thing, I mean, we're doing 4 hires out of the police department.
Okay, police, I don't want to
They're
touch.
replacing those.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's not.
And we've got on the agenda, or we'll have on the next agenda, a 1-for-1 replacement in police dispatch. We had one resign. They've identified a candidate that we'll have to get in front of you for the next meeting.
Yeah, so yeah, but there's no new management positions being created or being talked about being created.
Yeah, there's a compliance position that we'd like to add, but it's going to depend on if and when the budget gets advised. And then we've got to overcome the stumbling block with the management specialist pay scale that we've not seemed to satisfy the council with yet. But other than that, no.
Thank you. I mean, so there's nowhere else to cut. Sounds like it.
Well, you just cut it last, what's the change so far?
Okay, it went from 16.4 down to 14.7. So it's almost 2 cents again, but it's from the original.
From 26.
25,
Yeah.
well, 25
We're
point
not
something.
I'm not looking at the original,
Yeah.
just the last cut.
The last cut is almost 2 cents.
So what makes you think you can't do better than that last cut? Because you just did better. So what makes you think that you can't do any more than that? You
Well,
went back, you
again,
found more.
I'm relying on my professionals that are saying the next thing will be layoffs to cut this anymore.
I mean, you can cut, but now it's going to be positions and programs. Every trick in the book that could be brought to this budget document with regards to reserves for certain things or anticipated revenues has been reviewed by the auditor. That's as low as the auditor is comfortable with doing. So that's, that's the keeping the lights on money that we absolutely have to operate. So having cut that as far as we have, now, if you want to cut further, you have to look at other things. And, we did look at capital, but you have to remember that capital has a very different effect on the budget than operations and expenses do. For every $1 million we spend in capital that we borrow to buy things that we need, we only put down $50,000. So in order to get any kind of a savings out of your budget number, I mean, you would have to cut all capital. I mean,
I think we have about $650,000 in the operating budget for capital.
We have 650,000 for down payments.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's all that's in the operating budget that concerns capital. So and some of those things we're absolutely mandated to do. The state has regulations that we're doing projects on that we can't change. And, okay. I mean, again, we could.
So Danielle, what do we have budgeted for road resurfacing about?
3.2.
I want to say $3 million.
All right, so
3.2.
if we were to take road paving out for this year, that would derive you a savings of $150,000, which would only move this number by 0.25.
Not even a cent.
Yeah, but not even a half a cent. Which would bring us down to just a little bit below 13, that would be 13.9.
And not to mention the fact that if you delay your capital expenses, you're only kicking the can down the road because 6 months from now, those things that we needed this year, plus the things that they're anticipating for
Gonna
next year
cost more.
it's going to double up your capital or at least significantly increase your capital for next year.
The only thing I'm feeling a little better about is I was petrified of this budget because I thought we were already going to have a shortfall from fuel. But it looks like that's coming down a little bit. So maybe, I don't have to say 12 rosaries a day to prevent that from happening. Kind of like I do with snow. And we said at the last meeting that nobody here wanted any layoffs. So we've been told by the professionals that's basically where we're at. And when we do lay off people, services will be cut.
Yeah, just so you're all aware, if the decision is to shrink the workforce, the first place that gets laid off is all temporary help, which means summer camp, all of the counselors would be dismissed and there would be no summer camp. And we have 300 families relying on that for childcare during the summer. All of the seasonal workers for DPW, clerical that we usually rely on to cover for vacations would also be cut first. Before then it would go to part-time employees and then last in, first out. And then there is a process involved in that we'd have to engage in.
I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. The police department is separate from that, right? I mean, would it be the last police officer we hired? If that was the last person hired, is what I'm asking. I don't know.
That I'm not entirely sure about. I'd have to get the personnel people to get me more detail on that. So I don't know specifically how that would go, but I do know specifically that temporary and seasonals would be the first to be cut.
Which again would basically cut down on services. 'Cause
Yeah,
we don't
you
have
would
the
lose
people.
the summer camp.
Yeah, it's not just that. I mean, like you said, people are on vacation and right when there's a lot more work to be done around town, that's just when we are, even if we're just filling potholes, we don't do that in the winter. And, cutting the grass, I know we have a service, but we still do certain areas of town ourselves. And the road department handles roadways and we use a lot of these seasonal people to do these things that are only needed during the warmer months. So that will just have to go on the back burner. $25.2, I believe, something. Oh, you voted no. No. I'm just saying. 14.7. Oh, a lot better. It's almost cut in half from the original introduction. 14.7. Anybody that's watching this must be very bored. I'm sorry for laughing, but. As Kennedy said, this situation showed up back in 2012. We still kept voting on the budget, even though it was tied for quite a number of months, but people still voted. They didn't just sit here and wait for the clock to move. I'm going to make the motion. We'll see what happens. And if it doesn't pass, then I will have to say to Danielle and Glenn, you're going to have to start looking at layoffs. Because you're saying there's nothing else to cut. No, so Have to start looking at personnel. I'd like to say, to all the residents, I'm sorry about You could always take the convention off the budget. I'm just throwing stuff out there, see what sticks. That would save us maybe $10. Magic number that they're gonna be willing to at least second this on? Okay. Do we have to open this to the public? Okay. Maybe there's nobody here, but if we get through that. Yeah. Is there any more discussion? Hmm. That's what I said. I think if we open it to the public and then we can close it and then we can adjourn.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna sit here for the next half hour not saying anything. Well, I mean, literally being recorded, sitting here. Oh. There's obviously not going to be any more discussion. I suggested that we open it to the public so we can close the public portion and we can adjourn. So we don't look silly sitting here.
The one thing that so if this doesn't pass today, we have to meet before our next council meeting, because we won't meet for a month. So we have to have,
Both July and August are only one meeting. But if we do wound up doing that, can we start at 6:30 so we don't less time to just sit here.
Alberta, we always have the ability to call a special meeting for the budget.
That's what I meant, that, so we should definitely, if it doesn't pass,
See what Jim says.
I don't talk to Jim, and I
Okay.
appreciate if you
All
don't,
right,
when
well,
you talk to me, don't.
It's a good
I don't-
story.
I don't talk to him.
That's a good story. Anybody in this likes her.
No, but I'm saying, you know, if we're going on that.
At 6:45, I'm going to open the public portion, which is in about 4 minutes or so. So, I would, then we'll just follow through down the rest of the agenda. I would make a recommendation that the Finance Committee, which is Councilwoman Novak as the chairperson, Alberto Rios and John Zabrowski. My understanding is on this budget, they've met as a committee 2 to 3 times. I would advise that they meet before meeting with the council to come up to determine if in fact there is something more that can be done with the budget. Would you talk to the staff? Is that, would you go going for another bench and maybe here for the budget if we're going to do a meeting?
these element two dimensions. Sit in the community and communication. His hardest one is communication. He's my wife. That's this, yeah. Should 95. Oh, no, we did have a secret one. That was about the church scouts. Was the leadership, South End, took us in. We had. I was trying to find the church. Right before the rest stop. Yeah, that right back there, with beautiful location, say, all that property.
Okay, no. 6:42, okay. 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 He's going for his, our bench.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so it's now 6:45. For the general public, the budget by law is the domain of the governing body. And for the budget to pass, it requires 4 affirmative votes from council members. Is there anything to be said before I open this to the public? There being nothing to be said, I'll make a motion to open this to the public. All right, so this budget hearing is now open to the public. Are there is there anyone who would like to make a comment on the budget? There being no one, I will entertain a motion to close the public portion. Is there a second? Is there roll call?
All in favor?
All in favor? Opposed? Take a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, before that, I'd like to take this opportunity. I know we only.
Is your speaker on, Mary?
I'm sorry, thank you. Take this opportunity. How about we set up a date right now? Because, it took until March 24th to get the committee to meet. So, and we met one time more since then. That's why I went to workshops so the entire council could sit here, because we do need 4 votes, 3 don't count. So
Is this for the council or is this for your committee?
just, I think we should have a workshop every meeting until we can get this passed. Because again, I can have committee meetings till I'm blue in the face. And it takes 4 votes to get it passed. So 3 people just don't do it.
What does your committee say?
My committee says nothing. The first meeting, they had to run. They had to go to a Sarah meeting. And the second time, I'm the only one that talks at committee meetings. So can we set a date now for a committee meeting
Is the
or another workshop?
Which one?
I think the best way is another workshop, maybe in between the 2 meetings.
I would recommend you first have some committee meetings till you come to a consensus that you can bring. If you can't bring change to the council, then you can't bring change to the council. But I would recommend that you have your due diligence committee meetings to go over the budget. Is there any objection from the committee?
No, I have no problem. It's just that I'm not really
I'm
getting
asking your
guidance.
committee members. John?
I'd be happy to either meet as a committee or as a workshop, either one.
All right.
It's not enough to just meet. I need some input.
Well, that's
We
why
just
I
can't
thought
stand there and
if
sit.
you dealt with this, with the committee, which is 3 members.
And I got this.
You might get someplace.
I think the committee has met a couple times and we have reached whatever we can do. So that's why I think it'd be better if we have to meet for another time, for the council to meet, not just the committee. Because we all, like Mary says, we need 4 votes. There's only 3 in the committee, so.
Well, you don't have 3.
Exactly, well, even worse.
You don't have 3. So first have the 3 and then go for the 4.
I don't believe that's going to be able to be accomplished. But at any event, let's set up a date right now. Because the first one, I couldn't get the committee together until
Well,
March.
it was not good planning to hold the meeting when there's an obvious
That
conflict.
was the only date that everybody could meet. I could have just not had the meeting at all.
I find that unusual.
I don't.
That being said,
I can't even get people to
what are
respond to
what are the
Danielle's
dates you're
emails.
proposing, Mary?
I'm available all the time, Kennedy. I make myself available.
Mary, you're the chairperson.
That's
With
right.
that- With the, as the
And I
chairperson.
try to, and I say whatever time everybody else can meet, I will make myself.
Anybody
available.
have that kind of latitude in their scheduling that they can meet anytime, any place, anywhere, anytime?
Probably not.
Apparently not.
Mhm.
So I will
I
instruct.
think
the-
if we're looking for a date for a committee, we can figure it out. Well, Mary, John and we can figure out the date. But if we're looking for a date for the council, then we have to set up that date today.
Set it up before the next meeting.
Okay.
Why don't we set it up now before the next meeting, so we all know what
I
to
would like the
expect?
committee to meet.
We will.
I think it's fair and appropriate for the committee to meet.
Kennedy, we need to set a date. I mean, just to.
No, we'll meet, we'll have the budget meeting before the next council meeting,
When?
before the next council meeting at 6 o'clock like this.
So we're going to wait a month? I think we should have a meeting in
That's
between.
why I recommended that you have a committee meeting to make progress so that then there's something to talk about. Right
The
now, there's
committee
nothing to
made
talk-
progress. We
what?
took it from 25 to 14. We made progress.
No, Glenn and Danielle made progress. All right? That
On
being- wait.
what
Um,
we
Mary,
recommended.
Yeah, obviously, Mary, do you want to step down from your role as chairperson? Would that make life easier for you? I mean, apparently.
Kennedy,
this
I
is-
volunteered for this because nobody wanted it.
Okay. All right, so unless, I assume the committee will, hopefully the committee will meet before the next council meeting, which is in a month's time. I will schedule a budget meeting at the next council meeting at 6 o'clock.
What I would like a workshop. I'll get the committee to, if I can, I will meet with whoever I can. If it's not 3, it's not 3. I cannot. I cannot force anybody, but I think that in 2 weeks' time, we should have a workshop to
I
directly.
think the committee should have the workshop because we're all here and absolutely zero has been accomplished. I would like.
That's not true.
I would
This
like-
started at 50.
Mary,
This
you
was
can't-
introduced,
you
Kennedy.
cannot get us-
Everybody was this was introduced by this council at 25.2 cents and nobody has, since we lowered it, nobody will vote for it. So
Well-
everybody was happy at 25.2.
I would recommend you have a committee meeting.
That's fine. I'll have a committee meeting this week and in 2 weeks' time, I want to have
Then I will call another meeting. So
in between. I don't want to wait a month.
I get it, but you need to have your.
I'll do it this
committee
week.
first. Please work it with your committee.
Wednesday. Wednesday. Everybody available Wednesday? Thursday is the second choice. 6 o'clock here for a committee meeting.
That's Alberto and John.
Yep.
Around Thursday.
Thursday? That's great.
My birthday, so,
Thursday's your birthday?
yeah.
Oh, you want it on Thursday?
I mean, Wednesday, I'm going to Kennedy Park, so.
Okay. Oh, that's true.
Which day?
He just said Wednesday is Kennedy Park.
So the finance committee will meet Thursday at 5:30.
And if they do, have something to offer, we can call a special meeting.
We can call a special meeting. The clerk needs, I think, 48 hours to advertise it. All right? Okay. That being-
Can I just say one thing? Glenn, are you available on Thursday? And Danielle, are you available on Thursday?
Have to be.
I know you do, but Danielle's. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, that being said, I'll entertain a motion to close, to adjourn. Is there a second? Roll call? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, thank you. We'll have a short break before we start the regular meeting.